welcome to our Stitch Along Friday. I'm here, Lisa's not here this time, and what I'm going to do now is just set up all the comments so I can see as people come in. There we go, got everything all set up. It's really nice to be here, and it's really difficult to be here because when Lisa's not here, it's difficult for me to think of what to say. Can you imagine? She and I talk so easily together. It is effortless. And now, of course, I'm just a little nervous. Haven't done this for a while by myself. Richard asked me this morning, are you sure you want to do this? Because it's, you're not used to it. And I said, yeah, of course. As soon as I get into it, as soon as we talk to one another, we'll be fine again. Brenda Lichtleyer, hello. Nice to see you. I can't believe that it's already just about Christmas, and on this Xmas Eve Day I have a number of little things to do, but really not that many, because with the recent medical problems, people aren't really traveling. We were going to go to Vancouver. We had it all set. We had the hotel all ready, and then when we heard that Omicron was here, we just decided, no, we canceled the hotel and we're staying home, hunkering by ourselves. And of course, it's a little sad because we love to get together with people. But on the other hand, here I am, getting together with you. So that's kind of special to me too. I mentioned to Richard that many of you are not exactly always with other people either, considering that there is COVID around. Last two Christmases have been pretty much on our own. And I think everyone's trying to hunker down as much as possible. But still, some of you have relatives, very good. And those of you who are on your own, in your own, apartment or in your own house, I understand completely how it can be a little bit lonely at times. So I especially wanted to say hello to you today, because I know that even though the Christmas isn't like it used to be when we were kids, we still get that special little feeling about Christmas. We want it to be special, and we want to go into our little fantasy land of Christmas time. Hello, Louisa Sharp. Good to see you. Sandy Werbitsky. Hello. Kathy Joan Nelson. Good morning. And thank you so much for your greetings. Linda Bazarski. Hello. Merry Christmas to you too. Hello, Lisa. I thought you were on your way up island. Are you not driving at the moment? It's good to see you here, though. I'm glad you made it. Milady, Merry Christmas. Elaine, oh, you're here too. Thank you for joining us. Elaine used to be one of our valued employees and was let go around the summertime, along with several others of our employees, so that we could semi-retire. Marley is here. Hola. Happy Friday. And Merry Christmas to you too. Fiona's here with from Haddington. That's right. And Fiona's recovering still. I'm so glad that you are. Donna Granger, hello. Oh, it's sunny there. You lucky thing. It's not sunny here. In fact, we're getting snow. Apparently there's snow in Vancouver already. It just hasn't reached us yet because it's coming from the Arctic. And we call this the Arctic flow. And apparently we're next on the list for snow today. So I hope that when you're driving up island, Lisa, that you take care. Let's see who else is here. Good morning, Amber. Merry Christmas from Kansas. Teresa, hello. I haven't seen you for a little while here, so glad to hear you are joining us. That's really good. Louisa Sharp, caught you from the start. Hang on. Just sitting, doing with the mugo tea, taking a break from the moving, the dust. So yeah, you've been moving, so that must mean that you are settling in, but it must be a little bit overwhelming to be doing that during Christmas time. Suzanne says happy Friday and Merry Christmas. Lisa says leaving around 11. Oh, you're leaving then, because I know you mentioned you were going to be here. Or you're going to be attending, but I didn't know that. I thought maybe you might be in the car attending. How do I know? So that's good. Thank you very much for dropping by, Lisa. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good trip up. Say hello to your mom for me. Karen Peterson, hello. Jennifer Chung, good morning. Merry Christmas, everyone, from snowy Southern Ontario. You've got the snow. Mary Widowitz, hi. Good to see you and Merry Christmas. Karen Peterson says lots of snow in Nanaimo. Yeah, hasn't reached us yet. No, so far so good. In fact, we went out this morning to the Roost for coffee, which is just up the street. And nobody was there at 7 o'clock, and it was balmy. It was like 6 degrees or so, which is like, I don't know, 50, no, maybe 45. But apparently the Arctic outflow is coming also to us. Good morning, Karen Peterson. So you're leaving around 11. That's very nice. Jennifer Chung says, good morning, Merry Christmas to everyone. Mary Widrowitz, you have to understand, I'm looking at the comments, but as new comments come in, my control over the comments is lacking. I can't keep it in one place, so I keep having to kind of reorient where I am. And at the moment, it looks like I am at Carol Reed. Hello, Carol. Donna Granger, we're having a short break from the rain is all. Oh, okay. So it hasn't been sunny all the time, but I'm glad it's sunny now. Pat Henke is here. Good morning. Dorothy Wendell is here. Amber Krisha says, weird weather here in Kansas, 72 degrees today. Oh my goodness. I just don't, well, we all know what's happening to the weather, so I guess we just have to be patient, cross our fingers, and hope that technology will catch up to the climate change, and that we will conquer, and that we will eventually even out all of the things. I've been thinking that somehow the people who are in charge of all these, the engineers, scientists, etc., will manage to find a way to take the carbon out of the air and also create things like good agriculture methods, not so many cows, so that we put less in. Because there's lots of things that can be done. For instance, you can now make a kind of concrete that actually uses up the bad things, the carbon. And so there's lots of ways that we can do it. We just have to find the will. Pat Henke says it's going to be in the early 70s for you. Oh my goodness. Well, one thing is for sure, having Christmas be pleasant weather outside means you can get out and have a nice walk, which is one of the few things that we can do that's still pleasurable around here anyway, because we can't go indoors so often, and we can't go to the gyms anymore around here. We've had a lockdown on those. So I find that being able to go outside, breathing the fresh air, that really makes a huge difference to our mood and also to our Christmas, I hope. Merry Christmas at PV. Nice to see you from Kentucky. Knowing good pay price in January. Not sure what that means, but Pat, I will answer you if you have a question, for sure. Louisa says, moving, oh, the dust is dusting and hoovering the hoose. Not moving house. Been here for 46 years. We don't say the word hoose work. I see. Okay, gotcha. Of course, I don't know all those in things, but glad you explained. I appreciate it. Linda Douglas says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, the weather is what it is. I mean, we're all having whatever we get, and sometimes it's surprising, sometimes it's not exactly what we're looking for, but we're all pretty aware because good old weather people, they'll let us know, right? So I came here. Oh, thank you, Pat, meaning the bad weather, exactly. I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about this morning because, of course, Lisa's not here, so we can't talk about what she's done this week. Although I can still ask you, right, Lisa? You can type it in. What have you done this week is what I always say. I know what I've done this week has been, again, continuing to work to make our home and offices, which is all in the same building, decluttered. More things have gone out the door. I've asked people to come by and pick up the free things that they might want. And I think that I've basically pretty much come to the end this week of how to find a room, because there's a lot of rooms in this house, find a room that I can turn into an exercise room. I'm so excited. We talked about it today, Richard and I. We talked about it this morning over coffee at the Roost. And we both decided that the back room, which is not really a great room for anything else, which used to be my hand studio room and all the places where I kept all my stuff, I've now moved it all out, decluttered it, and put it in with the rest of the Victoria Sampler stuff. So we're thinking of putting in either a treadmill or a stair stepper, or I was thinking a rowing machine. Like, it's not that big, so I'm not sure. And he wants to have a Bowflex kind of machine for weights. So I want one that's cardio and one that's for weights, because I too need that. So I was wondering, when you get a machine like that that's not at the gym, you can't really test it out for very long. So in other words, I've seen myself or other people buy these machines, and then they sit in their basements unused until they sell them on Craigslist. And I just don't want to go through that routine. So I was wondering, is there a machine that you find that you don't feel uncomfortable on, like a bicycle or a recumbent bicycle or something, for aerobic kind of exercise, like where you're breathing hard? I can't do a treadmill because my foot isn't functioning very well, so I can't go outside and walk as speedily as I'd like to for exercise. So I was wondering if you had any suggestions. But that's, that's just chit chat. I'm going to check and see what people have been saying. Dorothy Wendell's going to see her family tomorrow. Everyone is vaccinated and boosted. That is really good. Here in BC, unfortunately, they keep such a tight control over everything. We can only get boosted when we're called. We can't just go and line up in some clinic. We can't go and buy a rapid test. We can't get one from the government. It's been extremely parsimonious, kind of, you do it this way, this way, this way, and we have to wait for our call to come through. And I did get a booster, but Lisa hasn't got one yet because much as she wants one, she can't even get one until her name is called. So it would be, really good if everyone had the same opportunity. So be thankful that you got all boosted, that you had the opportunity to go and get boosted. Ellen Meldrum, hello everyone. Very dull day here. Well, Ellen, you need to spark it up. Make some excitement in your life. If you can't have good weather, then you got to have good smiles instead. Louisa said, same in Cumberland. No, right. I don't think I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry, Louisa. Lisa said that she's been managing to pack all the orders and send them off before she left yesterday. So anyone who's ordered before yesterday will have their package in the mail whenever the mail gets through to you. We're thinking it's going to be a bit slower because of Christmas, etc. So any of your orders will be sent to you. Let's see, probably 10 days to 2 weeks, I'm guessing. It's just a guess, though, because it depends on where you live. We did decide to tell everyone we're closed for the Christmas holidays entirely. So Lisa left yesterday, basically was not coming back until about the 4th or 5th. I can't quite remember. But it's going to be like the whole office is closed. We've got it locked up. I'm going to try and maintain some contact with people who are desperate to know something through the email, which is info@victoriasampler.com. But other than that, there's not going to be any activity here. So if you call, you'll get a message saying, we're not here. Just leave a message if you can. But honestly, I don't think anyone will call you back until January. So please use the email info@victoriasampler.com for any communications rather than trying to leave a message on the phone. Good. Let's see. Yes, exactly. Pat will get her order. And Pat looks like she's got her booster shot. Wonderful. Brenda Lichlier says, guilty. Exactly. I know what you mean. Merry Christmas to you, says Monica Patel from cold, wet Nottingham, East Midlands. All of you who are from the UK, thank you so much for joining. We actually in Victoria, BC, have a real connection because there were so many British people and Irish people and Scottish people who settled here. One of our castles is called Craigderrick Castle, and it was created for the 4 daughters and wife of the man who settled here, and he was also Scottish, which there's a whole bunch of people from the British Isles. And so I am thrilled to find so many of you here on our stream. Actually, Carol Reed, starting a new project is always exciting. So if anyone has started a new Victoria Sampler project, could you let us know? Because I'd be delighted to hear what kind of Christmas project or even an after Christmas project you're going to start, I guess, at the end of this year. And then many people start a new one in New Year's, and planning for that and getting your kit together. That kind of it can really get exciting, absolutely. Sylvie, joyeux Noël, everyone, and same to you, Sylvie. It's so good to see you here. Louisa Sharp, talking about exercise things. She has an exercise bike in her spare bedroom window upstairs, so I'm looking up into the hills. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to look at walls. You're absolutely right. Near a window, excellent. I have also decided that I'm going to have music in my exercise room, but thank you for the exercise bike idea. Dorothy Wendell says anyone who's 16 and over can get a booster here. Exactly. We get the news and we hear from the United States. You guys have all the opportunity you need to get as many vaccines and boosters as you possibly can. And what I find funny is that in the States, there are fewer percentage that want it, which just baffles me. I'm so grateful for it. Carol Ann says, I've had my booster shot. Hey, Thea, Carol here from Gibraltar, originally from London. Hello, Carol Ann. Nice to see you again. I know I haven't, kept track of everyone who comes to our stream and starts chatting to us, but I do see a few people that are here almost every week, and then I see returnees, and so it's really fun to say hello to them again. Let's see. Fingers crossed, says Sylvie. I think on starting Heirloom Christmas or White Christmas. They're both actually beautiful Christmas pieces, in my opinion, but they both have are completely different insofar as the degree of difficulty and commitment. Because White Christmas is my very first sampler piece that I ever made that I felt could go out to be sold. I was working in a needle workshop at the time, and I created it on a trip to Paris, of all things, to visit my friend. I remember seeing all the clouds below me and thinking, wow, wouldn't it be wonderful to do a Christmas scene, like a white Christmas, because the clouds are billowing in different colors and textures of white. Anyway, I'll never forget that moment where I thought, oh, that would be great. So the White Christmas is a smaller piece, much smaller than the Heirloom Christmas. So depends on how much time you want to put into it, which one you choose. But let us know, okay, which one you're going to do. Mary Widowitz says she's working on it now too. Oh, that's to do with the cardinal sampler, I think, right? That's good. I'm so glad to hear that. Serena, how sweet. Thank you for being, Thea. Yesterday there was a major fire in my apartment building. So now you're displaced with no stitching stuff? Are you kidding? I'm so glad you're safe and well, but yes, you do need prayers for your neighbors, and we'll certainly say some for you, Serena. And I hope that you're not just safe, but also comfortable. Not having your needlework with you must be devastating, and hopefully you don't have too much smoke damage. I'm sure you're thinking about all those things right now too. I've never been in that position. I've only ever had a flood, and it was devastating. So my heart goes out to you. Patty says, Merry Christmas. Thank you. Monica, you've just bought your very first VS project, Summer Dreams, which you hope to start next year. Thank you for sharing that with me. And Summer Dreams was some of the earliest designs I ever did as well. Very pale colors. You can change some of the colors. There's lots of things you can do with Summer Dreams, but keeping them at those soft, pale colors is also just delightful and really nice to work with all those textures. Brenda Lichtleyer says, my best friend Patty is currently doing the White Christmas. Haha. Very nice. And not everyone is doing stitching around Christmas time. And if you are, you may not be doing Victoria Sampler stitching, which is understandable and not the point. The point to me is that everyone has some ability to feel creative during Christmas, except for Serena. Oh, I feel sorry for you in that way. And I guess where you are, you're not going to be able to get any supplies for a while. Hopefully you'll be able to get back to that very soon. Let me think now. I was talking last time about planning to do instead of doing the stitch of the week, that we would do the technique of the week. And I started making a list of the techniques. And not only are there finishing techniques, but there's so many, we'll call them tips and tricks and techniques that you use while you are stitching various different types of stitching. So some of those techniques are used in, reweaving for the hem stitching, which I plan on creating first. That's one of the first techniques that I want to get into. Some of them have to do with our Stitch Along Friday Stitch Along patterns. I started doing those kinds of patterns with just the colors. When was that? I think 4 years ago. Yeah, so I started doing those because I didn't have time to create patterns that Lisa would then correct change so that they would be equal, and me stitching everything, because that's how I design. I would stitch it all. It would take me a month to stitch it, my design, the one that I'm creating. Then she would take it and make sure that it was accurate on the chart. And then that chart would then have to be laid out and the diagrams all made, the instructions all written out very carefully, and then it would have to be edited and re-edited, and we would get accessory packs in. So the process for making one pattern would take us approximately 2 months, or sometimes 3, depending on the size of the project. Anyway, so I thought, well, I'm not going to go through all that for a free pattern. And it occurred to me that it would be fun for people to have the ability and to learn gradually how to do small specialty stitches that are not too difficult, and to do the coloring themselves. It's like a coloring book, really, a stitch along. I do give you the suggestions, but you can actually change the coloring from what I suggest to what you suggest. And so many, after the last 4 years of doing this, I have seen so many of you do such wonderful work. However, there are over 7,000 people in this group right now. Can you believe it? We just reached 7,000 this last week. And part of the reason for that are the stitch along patterns. And I'm thinking, okay, well, 7,000 people, maybe half of them anyway, would like those patterns or are here because of the patterns. So what are they going to do with them? They haven't had the practice of the last 4 years of doing them. And this last batch, which was the, what's it called? The year in stitches, I called it, as you all know. The year in stitches kind of went, in my imagination, I didn't have it set up in any color sense whatsoever. I did one thing at a time. As I designed them per month, I just designed them and then I divided them up and gave them to you as mysteries. Well, what's so interesting to me is that the new people who haven't had the practice are finding it hard sometimes to think to themselves, well, how do I even get started? And I suggested to one lady, well, I suggested that maybe you start with January. Don't think of the whole piece. If you're not used to picking out colors, this is, quite anxiety producing. I said, start with January, and then with January and those other colors in mind, imagine yourself stitching on a piece of linen that either encompasses all of them, so you want a big enough piece of linen, or you do one design at a time. So that was your first choice. And then I said, once you've decided, if you want to put it on one piece of linen, and then I started thinking, I can't say all those things, but those substituting and creating the colors for your own design on our stitch-alongs is actually a very wonderful thing to teach people. It is a way to ease into the creativity of your own mind. And those of you who are used to stitching might have no trouble or have very little trouble deciding that I'm not going to make this blue. I like green. I'm going to make this green. And then deciding what other colors go with that. But many people do not have that innate confidence. Even if they do have the sense and the creativity to do it, they don't have the confidence. So I thought that might be a workshop that we could do sometime later on, like somewhere around March, something like that. So that sounded really, and that is a technique, or in other words, it is, but it's multifaceted. So I want to do it big, right? I want to make it so that it's a few weeks long so people can come along and make those decisions with some help and guidance. So I'm going to go and look and see what I'm missing over here. Suzanne says, as I listen, I'm busy attaching buttons and beads to my gingerbread stitching house. I would like to start any of the following, she says. Valentine Snow Globe, which is a PDF pattern on our website. Winter Garden Sampler and the O Canada Sampler. That would be very appropriate. Lisa's now busy getting packing and ready to go. Oh, that's very nice. Best wishes. So anyway, so no one was chatting while I was talking about these things. Anyway, the other techniques that I have in mind are more shorter techniques, but they could do with myriad different kinds of finishes, which Lisa really wants to show you in our technique of the week. There's ways to work with materials that make it easier. Sometimes it's more difficult if you don't know that this thread, for instance, has to be split before you use it. All the things that we kind of take for granted when we've been stitching for a while, but that new people who are just starting to work with various different materials, how to pick the materials. Why do you pick this material, not that material? There's so many things. I thought, oh, this is going to be a fun year. So we're going to do all that here at the Stitch Along Friday thing. But I think what I'm going to do with the retreat or with the workshop to do with how to do the Stitch Along patterns, I think I'll make that an actual class in our academy, which will be really fun. And we'll probably do it through Zoom, which I've not had any experience in with a lot of people at one time, so that should be interesting. We'll probably set up a kind of like a beta test first workshop, and I'm not sure how it's all going to go, so bear with me. It is coming. It's probably sometime in March as soon as I get it together with Lisa. That should be great. Tammy! Yes, it's not just Christmas Eve Day, it's also Friday. Merry Christmas, Judy Pfeiffer. It's good to see you. And again, Tammy, Merry Christmas to you too. So those are all the things that I've been thinking about this past week. Not all the things, but some of the things that I thought might be coming in the new year. Yes, I do have a pattern ready for January for Stitch Along Friday, probably the 7th. I think that's a Friday. And I won't tell you the theme yet because it's kind of like a mystery. But hopefully you're going to really enjoy doing your usual something every 2 months. It may be what I'm going to be doing in the new year rather than every month, which means there will still be Stitch Along patterns, but they may not be as frequent as we did in the past year. The past year was easy, or rather not easy, but I noticed that there was a fair bit of work in them, so I'm going to stretch those out a little bit to allow me my semi-retirement. Martha Schumann says, more finishing demonstration would be great. Thank you. I stitched the Gingerbread Stitching House this year, but I'm practicing finishing on a few smaller pieces first before I finish my first 3D house. Perfect suggestion. And anyone else, that's what my last part of the stitching techniques or the techniques of the week. I want new suggestions because I can come up with my own things that I think you might need or that many of you might need, but real suggestions from people who really want to know how to do something and they haven't had very much practice at finding out how to do it, like you're doing your own practicing, Martha, which is awesome. But you might benefit from watching someone else do. And I think that that's the most benefit of all. I can tell you how to do things, but actually show me, don't tell me is really the key to learning. So I'm looking forward to that. And when you say how to do the finishing demonstrations, absolutely. There are some on our YouTube channel, just so you know, Martha. So several of our gingerbread buildings are being shown how they're finished on our YouTube channel, which is called Victoria Sampler YouTube channel. And go and look for that in YouTube and you'll find that there's lots of help there. Even if they're not the same house, you'll still get the similar techniques. Vicky, hello, are you taking a break? Oh, you've got an early Christmas, good for you. Patty is going to be stitching a lot because she's retiring in May. Louisa says, if a stitch along is to use your own thread, silks, etc., I choose my linen and then the threads. That's right. That is part of the system that I've also developed, just like you. You need to know what kind of material you use. But if you don't know what's coming, you don't know how to choose that material. What would be the most generally accepted material that you can work the most on for the most variety and let's put it this way, so that everything shows up the way you want it to and that it actually goes in with your house as well. So have a play with a wee block on the thread stitched on the edge of a 3-inch border. See, that's a great suggestion, and that will all come as part of the technique per week, parts of our upcoming year. Looking forward to it. That's okay, Lynn Burton. I'm glad you're here, and thank you, Louisa Sharp. All suggestions are welcome. However, the suggestions I'm asking for is not what you know yet, but What is it that you want to know? So if there's 7,000 stitchers out there, perhaps every stitcher has a question that they might want answered. And if every one of you wrote to me, I would get 7,000 suggestions, from which I can probably pick 52, which is how many weeks there will be next year. So I'd love to have any suggestions you have about techniques, not stitches, but how to accomplish those stitches easily or more beautifully than if you didn't use the technique. So sometimes techniques can be how you strip your threads. That's a technique too, right? Or tips and tricks, you might call them that in your head. So if you have suggestions, write to Victoria Sampler. Do not necessarily put them up here because I won't be able to parse them after we finish this. I'm not going to go through all of the comments afterwards. I'm looking as I'm talking, but I won't be able to remember everything. So please write to me, Thea at victoriasampler.com or info at victoriasampler.com. Both of those will work just fine for that. And in the subject heading, put techniques so that I can shut them off into a folder in my inbox so that I don't lose any of your wonderful suggestions. Lynn and then Sylvie, drawn thread technique. Big deal, the drawn thread technique. You're absolutely right. There's so many different ways that you can approach those. Ribbons, silk ribbons, or any other ribbons. Thank you so much. Don't forget to send me an email with the subject heading techniques, because otherwise they will not come true. And I'll be able to choose from all of your suggestions. Thank you. So the other thing I wanted to do was show you our whole gingerbread village, one after the other. I don't know how long it will take me, but I think I can do them according to order. So I started off with our gingerbread stitching house, and every time I'm picking it up, I'm going to show it to you in all of its glory, inside as well as outside. This is our gingerbread stitching house. And by the way, I had this colored nail polish on this time of year. And I tried it last week or the week before, and it was kind of like a raspberry color. So notice how they're really nice now. And this is called Brandywine nail polish. I really like it. It's a really perfect red for my nails. So that's the stitching house. And then what did I do next? Oh yes, I did this one, which is the gingerbread tree étui. We call it an étui because it's a French word for holding all of your stuff. And inside you'll see a biscornu, well actually it's a pincushion. And at the bottom of this you can also see there's a little scissor case here. And this has 4 sides as well. I don't know what this would look like if you did it 3-sided, but it would still stand up. You just need to make sure that you have a triangle at the bottom instead of the square that we have. This one actually has such nice little scenes at the bottom of the tree. I just love this one. And then, what did I do next? I don't think, I might have done this one next. Did I do the church next? Oh, see, now I've lost track. I think it might have been the candy cane cottage, exactly. And with the candy cane cottage is a little pin keep, which turned out so cute. And then there's also the cottage itself. This is the back, so I should show you the front first. I had the front aimed towards me. And there's the front with the little door and the snowman, and then the sides. And in behind each one of these windows, which are done kind of like Hardanger, are different colors of, I think we did felt in the inside or some cotton. Isn't that cute? So that one's actually quite easy to do and has a lot of beads. That's what the candy canes are made of. And then what did I do? Merry Christmas, Marie Anique. Good to see you. Louisa Sharp from Oor Hoos to Yours. Those are cute. Dorothy Wendell says, doesn't the stitching house have a pin cushion on top? It does. I left it over there on purpose. Thank you for mentioning it. It has a little tiny chimney that's got a little tiny pin cushion, but I knew it would fall off. So because we hadn't sewn it down. I guess we should have, but anyway, we didn't. And so now I just leave it off entirely. But yes, you can put that on for sure. Let's see. Arlene Russell is here. Good to see you, and Merry Christmas to you all too. Good for you, Dorothy, for remembering that. Graziella Ambrosio is here. Welcome. How exciting. Gosh, there's so many people here. It's really exciting. Thank you, Louisa. And Tedra is here. Wonderful. You guys snuck in while I was chit-chatting. Patty, I know ribbons are my struggle, were my struggle too, but you know when they stop being my struggle is when I practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. And then, of course, had all the right techniques. So that will be part of it for sure. Thank you, Karen Peterson. Very nice compliment. Okay, so the next one I did, and I can't remember if this is true or not, so I'm just gonna wing it. I think it was the church. I'm pretty sure that was older than some of the others. The church turned out just beautiful. I just love the way the church turned out. Now, I don't actually attend a church anymore, but I used to when I was a child. So this really was close to my heart. Good memories of being with my parents and attending our local cathedral where I used to sing, a soloist in the choir. And I just love this one because it's got the kind of very steep roof in black and this turret at the top. And this is actually side attached separately. So this is all one piece and this is all one piece. And so I found it just a wonderful exercise in not just construction, but also memories of going to church and making that a special part of Christmas, particularly Christmas, because we would go to midnight mass every year since I was a little child in Holland. And then when I came here, of course, we continued on with that tradition and came back home again after midnight mass and ate a massive breakfast and slept all morning. It was great fun. I used to love that change in routine when you're a kid. It's just so fun. And staying up late, that was exciting. Let's see what else. Wanda says, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Lorraine Clark. I love the church too. Thank you. Loretta says, Merry Christmas. Hello. Sharon, Merry Christmas. A happy, healthy new year. Oh, that's so nice to hear. And the same to you and all of you. Happy and healthy. Very important. Okay, what's next? I've got them all lined up in front of me here. So I've done those and those. I think it could be the bakery or the quilt shop. I can't quite remember, but I think I'm going to go for the bakery. The bakery turned out to be another tour de force in finishing because of the way the roof fits together. You have to understand, I started getting a little too fancy here because it's hard to do this, but we do have it. Actually, the patterns themselves will show you how to do this part here, in here. This part where it's joined, right in here, oh sorry, in there, this line here. That's actually part of the pattern, and you just make a back stitch or a over stitch to make the line here, and then the actual roof of the little building on the side will fit right there, and you can sew them together with a curved needle. Don't forget, you use a curved needle when you're in those kinds of situations. Anyway, when I started thinking this out, I used scraps of paper to construct things, and then I realized they were just bending all over the place. So I used light cardstock to make this so that it would all fit together, believe it or not, with Scotch tape. So I created my own model out of Scotch tape, and then I had to make the pattern to fit the model prototype that I made out of paper and Scotch tape. And many, many trials and errors later, we got this pattern. So I hope that you enjoy the magnificent way that we ended up fitting together the roof line and, of course, the rest of the buildings. This is the bakery, and this is the beginning, the front of the bakery, where there's a lady who owns the bakery, who is welcoming everyone. And then on the side here, you can see the front of the bakery, which is where the lady is helping, and she's giving people pies and cookies and things so that they can buy them at the front. And then here we have, let's see, is this the cash register already? No, she's still helping people. You can tell she's helping people because there's all the baked goods here, and there's the people that have come in, and she is a helper. And of course, she's selling these things. And here you see the two bakery girls who are in there making their bakery, and this is where you get the deliveries. And then here you see them on the front, at the front, and you see their faces this time, or at least they're facing front, and you can see they're working at the ovens, making all the baked goods. There's the cash register right there. I think that's it. And then you can leave the same way. So the bakery was really fun. In my head, this was real inside, right? And so the windows actually reflect what's going on inside. It was really fun. And then I think the next one would be the quilt shop. I'm not a quilter, but I value all of the quilting that people do. And Lisa has done a lot of quilting. So she actually taught me that quilting has to be done very well, very carefully, and very precisely. So when I created this building, I thought, I don't know how to present the quilting part to people who already quilt. So I had to be real careful. Anyway, this turned out to be the quilting shop. It's kind of an odd shape for people, but there are buildings that look like this, especially in Eastern Canada and the United States. But what I did it for was so that in the top window, I think they're actually having a class there. They're having Christmas there, so they're probably having a Christmas class. And I could make a little portico at the front here where people come in. And I found this wonderful three-dimensional sewing machine charm and put the words quilt shop. So it's a quilt shop, not just a place to, just to go and quilt. And then, of course, all the patterning on the outside is meant to suggest quilts. So it's not like they are actual quilts, but the embroidery is supposed to remind you of all the various patterns. And then here's a quilt actually hanging up on the side of the building, or painted part of the building. And then this is yet another type of quilt. And the top is very simple with some very cute little stars. So even though this is called the quilt shop, it's kind of a tribute to people who do quilt. And those of you who know someone who quilts, they might really enjoy this as their present. Okay. Sue Donnelly is here. Hello. Thank you for your card. It was very nice. It looks like, let's see. I have to go back. Thank you, Lorraine. Okay, good. And Sharon says, Happy New Year. Nancy Kenny, this is a wonderful surprise, she says. Thank you. Nancy Putting says, Merry Christmas. Oh, thank you, Mary Woodritz. I have to say, I really enjoy the Gingerbread Village too, and I wish I had energy to make another one. I still have the train partly set up with my paper and the Scotch tape around, so who knows, I may still get to it. But, no promises now that I'm semi-retired. Thank you, Suzanne Healy. Lovely. And Sue Donnelly, gorgeous. Sharon Dart Thomas's beautiful work. Thank you. Katrina Middleton, welcome, and thank you. Teresa says, love the village, but have not started any yet, but someday. They are kind of daunting to start stitching, so you're going to have to finish it yourself or have someone you love finish it for you. But I have to say, once Lisa shows you how to make the village, how to put them together, the pieces, you'd be so shocked to find out that it's actually easy. It's just a question of getting your mind to stop avoiding finishing. Don't have the word avoid in your mind at all. Because if you're avoiding that, then you won't finish it, right? It's really important to get down to it and start the finish. And almost all the finishing requires hand stitching, not the sewing machine. And we did that on purpose because this is an embroidery design. So not just embroidery, but you also get the chance to lay it out and pin it onto some acid-free mat board. And once that's done and you've glued it onto the back the way Lisa shows you, then you can start stitching them together on the edges. And that part's just hilariously fun. I did some of them myself and I thought, I'm finishing. So I hope that helps you. Teresa, thank you. Maria de las Nieves Iglesias. Hello, Feliz Navidad to you too. Kathy Joan Nelson, I may have to buy me a Christmas present of the tree in the village. By all means. Remember, none of us are here over Christmas between now and I think it's the 4th of January. We will not answer phones, so send us an email if you have any questions. And you can order anything you want because all the orders will be sent out after Christmas. Thank you for your sweet email. Oh, you're welcome. That's so nice. Then Dorothy says, I just bought the stitching house. You did too, didn't you? Let me just double check here. And I hope to stitch most of them. If you do, you are going to be so thrilled. I mean, I have them sitting out upstairs in my home part of this building. And I am so thrilled to have that. Every year, one new one came on. So as you collect them, your village will actually get bigger. And what I've done is I've gotten some quilt batting, which I lay down along my mantelpiece. And I've also put it on my sideboard a couple of times when I wasn't expecting guests. And I put the white quilt batting down. Then I start populating it with fake trees from Michael's. And then I have a few of these that I stitched, which is the little Christmas tree. This one is 3-sided. So I have a few of those dotted here and there amongst the village. And then I also put some sparkle, like, what do you call them? Not sequins, but you know, you can get a little bottle of sparkle, like little stars. So I put little stars on. And what else do I do? And then I arrange them artistically, either along the mantelpiece or whatever. And sometimes I even put a little box underneath the snow, which is the quilt batting. I pop a little box so that building is sitting up a little higher than, so it's actually kind of like this. Which I love that scene making. And it's like having a little miniature village, which you all know, you've seen before. And you have that display there. And of course the tree and the church are the anchor points on each end for the mantle. But if it's like a scene, an actual village scene, I put the tree in the middle and the church kind of opposite the tree. So that's how I arrange it anyway. What were you going to say? Fiona says, your Gingerbread Village buildings are stunningly spectacular. Thank you. I love each and every one of them. I hope you can make one each one day as well. Carol says, I enjoy seeing the whole village. I have all the patterns and have stitched a few of them and want to do all of them. That's good. I did all of them. And Lisa finished all of them, thank goodness, because I didn't have the time. But I actually liked the parts of the finishing that I did do. It was great fun. Good, Teresa. I'm glad that's helpful. Charlotte says, yay, I made it this week. Merry Christmas to you, Charlotte. Good to see you. Okay, we haven't finished all of them yet. Let's see. I think I'm going to guess, and I think this is the next one. And this is Sue Donnelly's retreat cottage. And I call this a retreat cottage because we were at retreat and I wanted to do a building just for the Citrus Hideaway retreat that Sue Donnelly set up that year. So we actually did some of the stitching for this retreat at the retreat itself. And for a model, I used her, I think it's called a camp cottage. It's a cottage that Sue goes to with her church members, and they go there every year to have a holiday in the summer and have a spiritual holiday. Anyway, the retreat cottage itself has her cottage is the model. So you see here, it's a side porch. And then I think this is meant to be her husband, Michael. And of course, we're all sitting, all of the students are sitting in the window stitching. And I think this is me teaching. That was the idea anyway. And this is the back of me teaching, and then everybody's still stitching. And there's the little side porch with the door right here, which has a screen at the top. And I think I was right there. And then of course the side porch as well, with a little Christmas tree up front. And this part here, there is a second floor, and actually there is a second floor on her actual cottage that she goes to every year, which I thought was really fun. And between Sue and I, we love this one because it's kind of like a symbol of our friendship that we've gained over the years. And finally, I did the flower shop. And I think the flower shop was not too long ago, actually. The flower shop starts at the front, where you can see the lady who owns the flower shop has all of her wares at the street level. And you can see that it's got a kind of like an awning at the top with the green, very common with flower shops in general. And then on the sides, you'll see all these specialty stitches which were taught in a class. So actually this one in particular is on YouTube, I believe. And then on the back, the lady at the back is actually working in the flower shop. She's putting things together. And you can see there are other people there working as well. There's all the various different flowers with even silk ribbon flowers. And this looks very much the same as this side. So what this does is it encapsulates a number of different stitches that you would do with silk ribbon or various other threads. It's kind of a challenging piece and really fun to do. Okay, I think that's all the big buildings. And as part of the Gingerbread Village, I have done a number of other gingerbready things, and I'll just show you to them. These can be just so cute to bake. These are the 3 blind mice. Well, they're not blind, but I created these as kind of the little animals that live in the village. I know they're not the same size proportionately. They should be really teeny, but they're very cute, and I hope that you enjoy making them. This is, I think, called the gingerbread mice. I think that's what this pattern is called. And gingerbread mice, of course, have a similar pattern on both sides of their little bodies. And you make them yourself, but with the same technique. See how it's the back stitching is being gathered together with an overstitch? And these little felt, wool felt ears were the best part, as well as the tail. Anyway, these are the gingerbread mice. And what else did I do? Oh yes, gingerbread cupcakes. You've seen some of those before. They hang in my tree every Christmas, so I've gotten them off. And I thought I'd show them to you here as well. I think they were shown last week as well. And of course, there's one with snowmen. And then there's one with holly. And there's one with little gingerbread men. Now, don't forget, I know we don't have accessory packs, so this is one of the ways that you can use these patterns that have these specific buttons in them. Get other buttons. I think they're called dress up. Anyway, in Michael's, there's a place where you can find fancy buttons, and even just round buttons that in Christmas colors would still be very cute. If they have shanks on the back, I cut them off with a wire snipper. That seems to really work, and you take the snap, if they're plastic especially, you just take them off and then attach them with some sewing thread to the front of your cupcake. Also, I made this one, which I think is called, I think it's, I can't remember, gingerbread Christmas tree? Gingerbread tree ornament, something like that. And it's all in it. This is the only one in the pattern, so it doesn't have other ones in it. And what else? I think this one is, but that's not gingerbread. And then we have done these little houses that goes really well with the gingerbread village. These little guys, tiny houses, not quite sure, but the word houses is part of it. They're not gingerbread. They're very various different colors is what I used. You can do them all in one color if you want. But I love the black roofs covered with the white snow, like that. Very cute. Okay, that's enough showing. I think I've shown pretty much all of the gingerbread collection here. If you want to see them all the patterns are on our website. Just go to collection, no, not collections, let's see. I think it's called collections. Along the top on a big computer, you look at your monitor, there should be a menu right to left, not on your phone, but on your monitor, there should be a menu. And if you go to the middle, which is, I think it's called collections, then you hover over that and you'll find the Christmas under special collections. Okay, so Christmas gingerbread special collection. You'll find it, I'm sure. Okay, let's see who else is here. Charlotte DeVere, you made it. That's right, you did. I remember. Oh, it's so good to see you too, June Bull. Really nice to see you here. Thank you for joining us. And thank you very much for the compliment. Appreciate it. Considering I've gained all the weight that I lost 4 years ago, I'm right back to where I was 4 years ago. I appreciate compliments like "you're very pretty today." Anyway, I'm starting all over again this year. I'm going to lose the weight again, and let's hope this time I can manage to take it off. I don't think my mind was as changed as as I thought it was. So hey, you know how it is. You just have to do what you can and be happy with the fact that you're healthy, and I really am. June. And then Jennifer Gowan, hello, Happy New Year to you. And then Louisa Sharp, I use alcohol pens on white silk ribbon. That way you don't need to go out and buy different colors. There's a good thought. I don't know whether they would stay if they're permanent. If they're permanent, it sounds like a really nice way to dye your own silk ribbons. I love your gingerbread collection. Thank you, Louisa. Patty says, I want to do them all. Oh, they are such fun to stitch, each and every one of them. And I remember doing one a year. So don't get the feeling that you might do two this year, because you have, I know any of you would have other things you want to stitch. But it is a labor of love, truly. As soon as you get into the Christmas spirit, you start in September, say, start stitching it, and then you finish it in November, and it's displayed that year, is a good kind of a routine to get into. And I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, there would have been 10 if I had included the Halloween, but it's not Christmas, so I'm not including it. So there's 9 buildings so far. Something for you to get your teeth into over the next year. Decide which one you're going to do that year, and then start adding to your collection every year. That'd be fun. So thank you all for coming. Remember, we're not open, so try not to leave any phone messages, because they may end up piling up in our phone message place, and then it'll get full, and I don't know whether I'll be able to go in there and do anything about them. So if you need anything, email the office, info@victoriasampler.com, and give any of your suggestions for techniques there. That would be very helpful, and I'll choose preparation for hem stitching for our first technique, hopefully in January. I'm looking forward to that. Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you. I'll join you in the weight loss after the new year. Yay! I'm starting January 1st. On Boxing Day, I'm starting to kind of get used to a new routine with what I'm eating, and then we'll start on January 1st together. That sounds great. Loretta says, Merry Christmas. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Sandy, Jennifer, Ellen. Have a lovely Christmas to all of you. Jennifer, I hope you enjoy stitching that Christmas house, gingerbread house. I do want to thank you all for being such amazing people, for coming here often. Every Friday, I see many of you here. So grateful that you're here, because it gives me a way to express all the things that are in my heart about you all. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you on New Year's Eve Day on the 31st. I believe Lisa's coming. And that is if there's no snow, because she's not going to drive in the snow just to come here to do, she said. I will see you in the new year for sure. And don't forget, we do have another stitch along coming up in the new year in January, but not till the 7th. Make sure that you all enjoy your Christmas. I think of you all in your various different homes, and hope you stay healthy and you are full of joy, because no matter what, if we are alive, and if we have illnesses, or if we have accidents, or if things happen to us, we're still grateful for all the things that we do have and that we experience that is somewhat joyful. There's always something to be grateful for. So I will leave you with that thought. All of you have a Christmas that's full of gratitude and joy, and we'll see you on the 31st next Friday at the same time. Friday, 9:30, I'll be here. Okay, Merry Christmas. Have a really, really nice day tomorrow.